These are use cases that most people never really think of, so right now, this is an example of real-time tracking and tokenizing budgets between departments. Who would have thought of that? So this asset did a 95% drop, creating a new all-time low price, and then boom. How cool would it be if this was some way connected to Project Dunbar? So is Project Dunbar for the BIS a competitor to the XRP ledger, or could it be working alongside it? What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. In today's video, the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, or the central banks of all central banks, came out with their annual economic report. And you can learn more at bis.org. And what I did find interesting is Anders here on Twitter sharing this. This is X_Anderson, remains the Lodestar for central banks. Where have we seen that word Lodestar before? You guessed it, Bearable Guy 123, obviously right here, all these Lodestars, different spellings, but this is referring to a ship. And the definition of Lodestar is a star that is used to guide the course of a ship, especially the pole star. And as you can see in some of the older posts back in 2020, we have Bearable Guy 123, we have what appears to be Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, and the King. We can see the owl, a broken scepter, and a wrench. Now speaking of the BIS, the Bank for International Settlements says that central bank digital currencies are poised to be the foundation of the financial system. Looks like this guy down here, Wedge of Light, has it. XRP, XDC, XLM, Algo, QNT, HBAR, a variety of assets. So I know in recent years, let's just say August, September of 2020, we witnessed one of the first DeFi decentralized finance bull runs. Could there be in the future a type of bull run that is related to any type of project that could be helping central bank digital currencies, whether from an interoperability standpoint, whether from the retail side, the wholesale side, trade finance, or other layer 1 smart contract platforms that can plug right in? So the BIS said that, and notice, where are they based? Right in Switzerland. Switzerland is key. Of course, Polkadot, XRP, Alliance Block, Casper, a variety of assets. So I do think this is a big deal. Now another project that we've spoken about that we have to keep an eye on is Project Dunbar. As you can see, this press release was back in March. And a few groups behind it include the Reserve Bank of Australia, we have a Malaysian bank, we have the Monetary Authority of Singapore, which already has clarity for XRP and has been tight with Ripple for years, and also the South African Reserve Bank, so another BRICS nation. Now looking at Australia, at least from a country standpoint, we know that Novati, another Australian fintech, is all about Ripple and their technology stack. Now Project Dunbar, as you can see, developed 2 prototypes for a shared platform that could enable international settlements using digital currencies issued by multiple central banks. This platform was designed to facilitate direct cross-border transactions between financial institutions in different currencies, with the potential to cut costs and increase speed. They've identified the challenges of implementing a multi-CBDC platform shared across central banks and proposes a practical design solution to address them. Now looking at this economic report by the BIS that just came out, the Future Monetary System. Now, do I believe that there are crypto assets in existence today that we can find by scrolling through coinmarketcap.com that will be working with the BIS, integrated with central banks? As we know, the XRP ledger is already integrated with some of them, even on smaller scales for central bank digital currency retail use cases like Bhutan in the XRP ledger. And what I'm emphasizing is the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan, so remember Project Dunbar has the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and Singapore is a behemoth. We can see Ripple partner to pilot central bank digital currency using private blockchain, a central bank digital currency private ledger. Because why? David Schwartz has explained, no matter how much we want publicity, central banks still need to have privacy. So let's build technology that can act as a bridge but still has privacy features so that sensitive information can still be stored securely. And this is all about financial inclusion, as you can see, trying to increase this to Bhutan by 85% by 2023. With Ripple's groundbreaking technology, this will allow for experimentation of a CBDC with our existing payments infrastructure. Now, when news of the private ledger came out, I saw all the FUD, I saw everybody freaking out. Please go back to older videos that were put out by Ripple or David Schwartz or Matt Hamilton. Somebody that's in the know that at least works or worked for Ripple, is familiar with the XRP ledger. Go straight to the source. They settled all those FUD points. So as you can see, with this private ledger based on a public open source XRP ledger is carbon neutral and 120,000 times more efficient than proof of work blockchains. The Bank for International Settlements does not like proof of work consensus. They like the XRP ledger. And of course, I love watching videos of James Wallace, who is actually VP of Central Bank Engagement over at Ripple. So with Ripple's CBDC private ledger, these CBs will be able to access a network of central bank digital currency ledgers that enables full settlement interoperability while ensuring monetary and technological independence. How cool would it be if this was some way connected to Project Dunbar? So is Project Dunbar for the BIS a competitor to the XRP ledger, or could it be working alongside it? We can see on the same economic report by the BIS, globally, a full 90% of central banks recently surveyed are doing some form of work on wholesale or retail central bank digital currencies. There are 3 live retail CBDCs and a full 28 pilots. The People's Bank of China, guys, was meeting at Ripple's headquarters in 2017. Now, were they looking to collaborate? Were they looking for ideas simply to future-proof? Or were there plans to work together? So we can see Project Jura with central banks of Switzerland and France. We're going to have to keep an eye on this, and I have no idea how to pronounce that. Project Dunbar, think Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, and South Africa. We also have Mbridge, which is Hong Kong, Thailand, China, and the UAE. Now, Casper is another project that has huge ties out in the UAE. Now, so does Ripple with their regional headquarters out in Dubai. Now, markets have crashed and sentiment is lower than ever. It happens because it works. It does, in fact, get retail investors to sell the absolute bottom. Now, here's some perspective. December, the year 2000. Newspaper headline: Internet may be just a passing fad as millions give up on it. Now, a couple years ago, I did a video showing a gentleman, maybe it was like CNBC or something. The year was like 2000, 2001, and he was telling everybody watching not to touch Apple stock and not to touch Amazon because they're internet companies, and that means that they're too volatile. I like volatility. Volatility gives opportunity. Because even DCAing at these levels and waiting for prices to go back to higher levels because crypto's volatile, it most likely will. In my opinion, it's free money if I can wait. So this is 20 years ago. Calling the internet a fad. Web 2, the internet of information. History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. So what are we going to see? Is this another parallel? Do people really believe that Web 3 is not the future? I personally believe that the majority of our children are not going to know a life without Web 3. Without some type of verifiable ownership that is on a distributed system that is redundant, that we can prove and is trustless, it's going to be significantly more automated. So if you're nervous about the future of crypto assets, go back to the past and see if you can find any parallels. Meanwhile, crypto layoffs, Crypto.com 5%, Bitso 10%, Robinhood 9%, Gemini, Coinbase is up to 18%, wow. BitMEX and BlockFi 20%, and I just saw that FTX did in fact bail out BlockFi. Next up, by David Santiago Casper, we can see in quotes by the CEO of Casper, we have 2 or 3 governments and 60 to 70 enterprise partnerships in the pipeline. As we can see, Casper Labs to provide open permission network for implementation of Government of Telangana blockchain initiatives. And for anybody unfamiliar, Telangana is one of the top performing states in the country India, and of course we know how large India is. And as we can see, there's about 40 million people in Telangana. What's cool about this is that their network will now support Casper Labs in networking and introductions to other IT companies and firms interested in blockchain apps. And this is similar to why I'm super psyched and excited about HBAR with Hedera's governing council member Ubisoft, one of the top 10 biggest gaming companies in the world. Imagine Ubisoft and their network helping Hedera take over. Next up by Tokenizer, cannot wait to start looking into Casper, awesome. Seeing they were the main host of the blockchain hub at Davos, and I do believe that means something. Remember, both based out of Switzerland, just like the bank or BIS. Ran directly alongside the World Economic Forum. That's a big deal, especially for an asset that has only been trading just over 1 year. I know they were founded back in 2018. You can go back and look at Crunchbase and things like that and see the big investors. But remember that Algorand, for example, I believe just had its 3-year anniversary, and Casper just turned 1. Now, Algorand still has a long way to go. I love Algo. I'm holding a portion for a very long time. I believe thus far we've only done like a 20, maybe a 30x from the all-time low. I feel like it's like a 20, 25x. And it's been around for 3 years. And as Tokenizer says, some indirect connections to HBAR LCX Alliance block would not be surprising at all. IBM partnership, China and Telangana. And remember that Alliance block has a validator on the Casper blockchain. And then per the GitHub, it shows Algorand and Casper building atomic swaps. Now, I'm not sure if it's still active, I'll have to check, but that's cool to see that in the roadmap. Switzerland, baby. All these projects are connecting, interoperable, and future-proofing. And here's a little more perspective for anybody new that has yet to see this. So Phantom, FTM, is another crypto asset that had a hell of a 2 years. So let's look at the chart. From its all-time low price right here, it did over a 1,800x, so almost a 2,000x return. So if you put in $1,000 at the bottom, which doesn't happen, but this is, for example, to show you what a 1,800x looks like, that turns into 1.8 million, almost $2 million. Now, what's interesting is this high, I just drew wick to wick for the fibs because it takes you right to an 89 fib extension to perfection, technically a double top. What's interesting is from this level, all the way down, is exactly a 95% drop. So this asset did a 95% drop, creating a new all-time low price, and then boom. This did a 1,800x return. is it really that crazy to say that I believe that there are still many altcoins that at the very least can do a 50 to 100x from their all-time low price? No, not at all. Provided they survive, the question is how soon? Also, XRP meme guy loved this. Extremely rich people later, XRP ledger. We have Graham Stephan here sharing the mortgage rates over the past 5 decades. Now, I know everybody knows this, but just to look at this graph, this is crazy. As you can see, we're getting back over 5-6%. I'm actually trying to get pre-approved for another property right now just to see the rate, and it's not the best. It's, 5-6%. I wish I could have gotten a 3% rate, but say goodbye to those days for now. Also, we have this gentleman right here, build and mint on the XRP ledger right in Times Square, New York. How cool is that? Visit xrpl.org. Now that's publicity. We have this shared by Jamil Kays. Thank you for the tag. We have from the European Parliament, the Policy Department for Economic, Scientific, and Quality of Life Policies. Unlike Ethereum's inventors, Ripple's inventors did not sell a portion of XRP via a crowd sale upon XRP's creation to fund Ripple Labs. And the XRP ledger was in existence before Ripple the company was founded. And back in the day, XRP was actually just called Ripples, so when they refer to the XRP ledger, they sometimes just called it Ripple. So Ripple is an open source, peer-to-peer decentralized digital payment platform that allows for near instantaneous transfers of currency, regardless of their form. The US dollar, the yen, Bitcoin, even tokenized gold. Also shared by Zepsi right here, Ubisoft, the behemoth, is creating the Hedera dedicated entrepreneurs lab. This partnership is focused on rapidly expanding the ecosystem at the intersection of distributed ledger tech and gaming, with an initiative that supports the development, growth, and launch of next-gen gaming on Hedera's network. This is an older article after the Ubisoft news dropped, but now we're looking at that head starter with the IDO and all the projects being launched on Hedera. And yes, I am a huge long-term bull on HBAR. So Zepsi actually posted this, an updated rebuttal to Coin Bureau, and I love Coin Bureau, but I'm sure he probably said that Hedera is like super centralized or something. I haven't watched the video. But as you can see, Zepsi's providing a thread just informing and sharing all the information and laying it out about Hedera. Hedera Hashgraph is open source following the Governing Council's decision to purchase the IP rights from Swirls. You can see a variety of banks. We have Shinhan Bank based out of Korea. We have, even right here, EDF is confirmed to be building a carbon marketplace. Ubisoft, Standard Bank, and Shinhan Bank have conducted a proof of concept with Hedera's network. And there's so many things that go into central bank digital currencies being transacted, into settlements, into messaging. So there's going to be a variety of use cases. Meaning there's so much friction in today's ecosystem. It's so inefficient and centralized and using 40-year-old, if not even older, payment rails that there's plenty of opportunity for a lot of amazing projects to help. Also planning tokenized commodities, self-sovereign identification, which is going to be huge, bond exchange, central bank stablecoins, commoditizing agriculture. Now that could be massive. I actually have to dig into this. We have ServiceNow, a company that's used by nearly 80% of Fortune 500 companies to integrate Hedera to its main Now service to track SLA real-time tokenized budgets between departments, legal entities, and external vendors. These are use cases that most people never really think of. So right now, this is an example of real-time tracking and tokenizing budgets between departments. Who would have thought of that? As you can see, Avery Dennison covered this the other day. We'll be deploying the single biggest use case on a public DLT to date. Hedera tracking carbon emissions and supply chain. Billions of unique items. Wow. I gotta follow this guy. Awesome. The tokenization of traditionally illiquid assets, real estate, fine art. Awesome. Markets, even collectibles, are going to be developing liquidity. Oh yeah, and smart cities. Now remember, King Solomon did an interview a while back with, what's his name, Christian Hasker. And even King Solomon showed proof that the Department of Defense, the DoD, and I know they have connections to DAG and Constellation, they were looking at Hedera's network for smart city grids. And I'm semi-familiar with smart cities and a lot of the IoT devices. To me, that is insane. I remember that drone company that was also looking at Hashgraph. Anything that needs security, that needs to be distributed and widely accessible, whether it's a drone company, smart city grids, they need distributed ledger technology, and ideally even better when there is a utility token for the network. IBM and Hedera maintain strong links through Hyperledger. Of course, Casper is also connecting the Hyperledger, which is awesome. We know LG Electronics, Hashpack. So Hashpack, for anybody that doesn't know, this is a Chrome extension. This is one of my favorite wallets for HBAR. Anyways, this thread is massive. I followed this guy Zepsi, really good information. Now remember, Ripple the company using the XRP ledger is leveling the playing field. So instead of 2 to 5 major central banks controlling what's what, as we shared, the top 3 banks control 80%, oversee 80% of cross-border or international payments. HSBC, JP Morgan, and Citi. They're leveling that for hundreds of thousands of banks and mom and pop shops to have equal opportunity to instant capital. And Hedera, on hedera.com/council, has an enterprise DAO of the world's biggest groups: Google, FIS, Shinhan, Standard, Tata, Deutsche Telekom, DBS, another huge bank in Singapore that also has XRP listed on their trading desk, and Boeing. People are so worried about decentralization, but at the end of the day, these solutions on a spectrum are getting way closer to decentralization than where we're at today. IBM, LG. For me, this is the necessary step in evolution. You can't just go to a world of sunshine and rainbows and it's 100% decentralized. There has to be some type of incentives, and this to me, an enterprise DAO, this whole decentralized autonomous organization, is much better than what we have today. Next up, we have a quick video by iTrustCapital. What happens when blockchain collides with gold and silver and other precious metals?
Are you interested in learning about how blockchain technology intersects with gold and silver? Well, you're in the right place. Blockchains are digital, which means anything physical that is owned on the blockchain isn't necessarily going to be delivered to you unless you choose that route. iTrustCapital allows clients to digitally own gold and silver within an IRA.
So if you would like to invest in cryptocurrencies and even precious metals using your IRA, an individual retirement account, or a 401k, you can visit the link in the top of this YouTube video description. And it's also available right in my Twitter bio, and make sure it's my valid account. I only have one Twitter, so beware of scammers in the YouTube comments along with Twitter. You can go right to my link tree right here. And these are the cryptocurrency resources that I actively use. Whether you want discount codes, free charting tools, free crypto tutorials, exchange recommendations, or create a free iTrustCapital account using this link, you also get $100 after funding. And for anybody new, no, there's no monthly fees whatsoever. If you decide to trade, it's a 1% fee just like Coinbase. I've been with iTrustCapital since the very beginning. I first created my account in January of 2020. When I first started off investing, I had my IRAs with Vanguard, just in the typical mutual funds. I also had my 401k during my corporate days with Fidelity. I moved my Vanguard IRA into Bit IRA for cryptocurrency exposure. Loved it, great timing, I was up on the investment, but the fees were insane. So when iTrustCapital came around, I was more than happy. And in no surprise, iTrustCapital is now the #1 platform, with over $5.5 billion in transactions. This company is a unicorn worth over $1 billion, mobile application, trading 24/7, guys. This settles within seconds, so you don't have to wait on, an account manager and send them an email. This is all automated. And the cool thing is, we can be expecting a variety of new assets under how it works. You click assets. We already have dozens listed today, but I expect many more to be coming. And as shared, we also have precious metals, gold and silver. So this will be linked in the top of the YouTube video description, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. A huge thank you to everybody that hits the like button and subscribes. I wouldn't be here without you, and I'll catch you in the next one.